It looks like we might be getting some new maps for Lucioball. Blizzard seems to be ready to test the new Assault mode. And the latest experimental card is making people go this and more in this week's Omnic Recap. Welcome to the Omnic Recap. I am D from the Omnic Post, and this is what happened this week in Overwatch. In just a few days, Sigma's Maestro challenge will come to an end. You have about 2 days to get an icon, that emote, and of course, the Maestro Sigma skin. There are also those musical sprays you can get by watching Overwatch streamers. I'll be streaming on Monday and Tuesday. Overwatch on Twitch.
Just join us.
As that event is almost over, the community is currently looking forward to this year's summer games. They are slightly later this year, but it kind of makes sense. As in an alternate universe, when Corona is not a thing, the Olympic Games would have started around this time. So I guess Blizzard was trying to align the real-life event with the in-game event. And everything got cancelled, so I've talked about this in previous videos, but I kind of hope that they'll do something different this time around, since it was planned to be tied into the real Olympics. And while I'm still not fully convinced they will, there is a tiny bit of hope. This week, players noticed on the PTO workshop that some of the Lucioball maps were renamed. Both Busan and Sydney had the word classic added to the end. What? That could suggest that these maps are getting a new version in this year's summer games. Adding classic to anything will do that. Classic cars, for instance. They are classic because there's new cars. Otherwise, they would just be cars. We don't know anything more at this point, but I guess we might soon. I expect the summer games to go live this week. Since the Maestro challenge is still running till Tuesday, and they sometimes, well, almost every time extend it for at least a day, my guess would be on Thursday. They haven't shared any of the skins or even a teaser at this point, but that might change now. Or later this week. Had y'all excited there for a minute, right? Like they would ever send me anything. Come on. While people were messing around with the names of stuff in the workshop, some of them also stumbled upon a reference to a new game mode. Well, not new, an updated game mode. There is actually a game mode in the workshop that is called Assault Test. By adding tests to the end of a name, no, never mind, I'm not going there. You know what I mean. Blizzard had shared in the past that changing these assault modes and the maps was high up on their priority list. They do agree with the community that both the mode and the maps do have some issues. Paris and Horizon are not even included anymore in competitive play. Now this testing might be a sign that they're ready to share what they worked on. And they want us to test the new, not classic, assault mode. Might we actually get a developer update this week? Jeff, sitting on the beach, wearing a face mask and speedos. In case that happens, the assault test, not the Jeff and the speedos. I'll be posting about it on the Omnic Post on Instagram and Twitter. Go follow. The links are in the description. While we are still waiting for an official update on the status of Overwatch 2, 8 months after it was announced, come on, we did get a tiny bit of an update. This week, Blizzard posted a blog post about the engine and the tools they use for Overwatch. Their engine, called TED, was originally built for Overwatch and is being expanded on for Overwatch 2, which we kind of already knew. But one of the devs shared some info about the map size, especially for PvE. Overwatch 2's PvE maps are larger and more complex than Overwatch maps like Retribution and Storm Rising. That doesn't just mean more distance to cover, but also longer missions involving more kinds of foes and more elaborate encounters. Adding enemy types leads to complex ability interactions between enemies and the heroes, but also between the enemies themselves, like short range and long range units that coordinate their attacks. This isn't much, but it is promising. While we love those current missions, they're just not long enough, not big enough, not complex enough. But it seems they got that covered. Nice. On one hand, they have bigger maps. On the other hand, they'll be full of new types of enemies that actually collaborate. But seriously, Blizzard, show us more, please. Talking about maps, which existing map would you like them to expand on? Do you want to see more of London? Or maybe get lost in the Black Forest? Let me know in the comments below. Enough about the future. Let's look at what we actually got this week. Well, kind of. The first of those 2 experimental cards we talked about last week, check the video up there, hit the live servers this week. The card has 2 parts to it. First off, there are the Genji nerfs. As I have been saying for some time, Genji was slightly overbuffed, and Blizzard is turning him back just a tiny bit. Sorry Genji mains, now go ask for some healing. But the one change that had people's heart rate go up was the new Moira. First off, they nerfed the range of her damage abilities. The damage per second on her damage orb will now scale according to how close it is to its target. When you manage to get it straight on top of an enemy, it will take for 150 damage per second. Which is big! This change is intended to reward anybody that can correctly position that orb. Which makes sense, kinda. But then there's the fade change. It's the ability where she turns into a purple cloud of smoke and gets away from you. In this experimental card, every ally that ends up in the 6-meter radius of her fate endpoint will get the same benefits she gets. Immune to all damage and effects. This also removes debuffs, releases you from graph, and more. Basically anything she can escape, you can too. I presume this is supposed to be very circumstantial, but if she pulls it off, it is huge. Really huge, which has upset a lot of people. I cannot count the amount of angry videos and angry tweets I've seen in the last week. And not all of them were from politicians. But hey, Jeff warned us that they were unsure about this change. And now we know why. But to be honest, I'm really happy they allowed us to test this. Like I said last week, the proof is in the pudding. Chances are that these changes will not make it into the game. Chances are really big actually. So no need to get your knickers into a twist. The Genji ones on the other hand, they might be going live as soon as this week. And that was it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And make sure to subscribe and hit that little bell icon so you get notified every time I upload a video. Follow the Omnic post on Instagram and Twitter to be updated on all the news Overwatch. And you can follow me on those same platforms as ATOMIIXTV. ATOMIIX is with 2 eyes. I stream 5 days a week on twitch.tv/ATOMIIXTV. And as always, the links are in the description below. Thank y'all for watching. See you next week. Bye bye. Classic.